The Nothing Phone 4B is the most affordable phone from Nothing, yet it's got the biggest battery of them all, 5,200 milliamp hours or 6,000 if you're based in India. Now that being said, compared to the 4A, many corners were cut. Just to give you a few examples, it doesn't have a periscope camera like the 4A, so you only get up to 10 times digital zoom rather than the 4A's 70 times. Its screen resolution and brightness, as well as its bit depth, is lower. It supports 8-bit color, not 10-bit, and it doesn't have the 4A's haptic engine, so the haptics of the 4B are dull, not tactile. And it's got the Snapdragon 6 Gen 4 processor instead of the 4A's 7S Gen 4. Doesn't that seem like a lot to give up for a slightly cheaper price point and a bit longer battery life? That said, perhaps cost is the main factor for you, and you do want that unique Nothing experience, from the Essentials button to the glyph interface, or perhaps it's a device that you're buying for your kid as their very first smartphone. In that sense, is it a good enough device in terms of its gaming, speakers, and camera performance? We're gonna find out, so buckle up. Now, if you want to check its latest price, in case it's on promo, click on the Amazon link in the pinned comment or click here for Shopee and get subscribed for more reviews like this one. For gaming, now, as long as you're not into ray tracing and all that, and you're fine with standard mobile game graphics, you'll be totally okay with the Phone 4B. Yes, it's true that it doesn't perform as well as the 4A, but the difference in frame rate is pretty small, as you can see from these 3D mark measurements running the standard wildlife tests. What the 4B does better than the 4A, though, is the thermals. Now, even with the 20-minute wildlife test, the 4B at the end of the test only felt a little warm, whereas a lot more heat was building up on the 4A. At the back, it felt very warm at the end of the test. So the 4B is going to be a lot more comfortable to use for long gaming sessions than the 4A. Now, as for the speakers, it's very mid-focused, so there isn't much bass at all, but I think it is performing within expectations in terms of clarity and loudness. They're actually more mid-focused and less boxy sounding than the Phone 4A, which is a good thing in my book. Now, that being said, in my opinion, the Phone 4A sounds better because it sounds fuller, more dynamic, and you do get a little bit more low frequency presentation than the 4B. Now, both the 4A and the 4B don't have any stereo separation if you hold them in landscape mode, with the top and bottom speakers facing left and right, which is why these are not the best sounding phone speakers. But as I said, they are performing within expectations given the price. Listen to the samples.
비가 내리면 자연스레 너를 떠올려 따스해지니까 Don't know how I can explain 하루 종일 네 생각에 간절해 낯설어 나 왜 이런 걸까 You're the cure to all my pains 널 좋아하나 봐 널 사랑하나 봐 이제는 더 이상은 숨길 수 없잖아 내일도 아껴줄 거야
As for the 4B's camera, it's an okay camera as in it takes decent enough pictures, but it's not for nitpickers, even compared to the 4A. By default, the 4B's colors are a little flatter, its highlights are a little more blown out, and the blacks look less contrasty than pictures shot on the 4A. The zoom, of course, isn't that great, or rather, there is no actual zoom, just cropping into the wide angle shot, which is of course not comparable to an actual periscope zoom camera. We see a similar thing with shooting videos. The 4B looks more blown out in the highlights, and there is no actual zoom, unlike the 4A. So at the same 10 times digital crop, the 4A looks a lot more clean, a lot less noisy than the 4B. So those are my thoughts about the Nothing Phone 4B. Now, in my opinion, if you really have to go for a budget device, do yourself a favor and just get the phone 4A. It's only a bit more expensive, but you're getting so much more in terms of performance. That being said, if you still want to go for the 4B for various reasons, I've got links to both their Amazon prices in the pinned comment below. Also, get subscribed if you want to see more reviews like this one. Now, just in case you've got a bit more cash to spare, here are my thoughts on the Nothing Phone 4A Pro. Check it out.